The HBCUs provide our students some guarantees.
As African Americans, there was a long time when we were killed and beaten for even wanting to know how to read.
A dark past filled with little to no opportunities for the Black community, illuminated with possibilities upon the creation of historically Black colleges and universities.
You have resources here of compassion and family, which sometimes at a TWI you don't find.
Founded by a former slave, Alabama A&M University rose from the ashes on the very land Dr. William Hooper Council was once sold on.
His story is a story of against all odds. I mean, it's even beyond some of the challenges that Mr. Washington had at Tuskegee and some of the other founders, because this institution and one other 1890 were actually founded by one person that was a former slave.
Through his challenges, Dr. William Hooper Council and other founders of HBCUs transformed a community once restricted from gaining a higher education into scholars.
I mean, don't think that those professors, those Black professors, weren't in there giving us history, you know what I'm saying, and giving us that knowledge and from their own experience. And so being able to hear those stories and learn from them definitely showed me where we've been and where we're trying to go as a culture.
And speaking of which,
1, 2, ready, and
the culture of an HBCU is totally different from any other school that you can possibly find.
as the years passed, HBCUs weren't only helping the Black community progress in the classroom, it developed into a pillar for Black culture, extending through the Divine Nine.
You see people out there stepping and, you know, strolling and all of that. And it was like, wow, okay.
The marching band.
That's what we call the band now. It's a profession because they spend so much time practicing that it's another job.
And even the game day festivities.
I mean, when it comes from the experiences, being from sports, being in fashion, being in even broadcasting, it's not going to be duplicated.
While HBCUs are the epitome of turning tragedy into triumph, there are still peaks and valleys these institutions have yet to fully overcome in our country.
Looking at decades of being underfunded and underserved, it would take that much time, you know, to grow us out of it if we were committed to it.
Both public and private HBCUs are more dependent on federal, state, and local funding in comparison to predominantly white institutions. And for many years, these HBCUs have received the short end of the stick.
We've done an excellent job against all odds, being underfunded. And now we've got proof of how we were not only just categorically underfunded, but by design.
The work on historically Black colleges and universities is nowhere near done. But much like Alabama A&M's motto, these institutions have provided the community the opportunity to start here and go anywhere.
We're also in the business of creating CEOs and Congress people and state legislators and dentists and doctors and attorneys. If you are the best and the brightest, you can start here and still reach the upper rungs of society.
In Huntsville, Naomi Gray, Fox 54 News.